All right, and welcome into the Betting Pros podcast. It's time to place your bets for the 2025 Belmont Stakes. That's right, it's the third leg of the Triple Crown going down in Long Island, New York this weekend. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, and I'm joined by a couple of the best railbirds in the business, including the host of the Betting Pros Daily Juice podcast, Matt Perrault. Matt, how are you as we round out the horse racing majors for 2025?
You know, I'm excited, and this is actually going to be, I think, a more interesting race than the Preakness, even though we had the craziness with the Preakness and how journalism came from behind to win the race.
Yeah.
We have two horses in a environment where we haven't seen this really in terms of now a rematch, a 1v1. I'm psyched. I think this is going to be a really interesting betting opportunity, and I think the handle is going to be up because the Preakness handle was way down.
Well, I'm happy to have you on board today. We're also once again tapping into the big brain of Luke Monaldo. Luke, thanks for linking up with us. How are you today, my friend?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm doing great. I'm excited for a great Belmont. Even at the small field, I think there's a lot of different possibilities for the final outcome, which is incredible. I think it's really going to come down to a couple of the big horses, Journalism and Sovereignty, like Matt alluded to. And just a rematch like this is really cool when it's a rubber match.
100% agreed with you, man. Before we jump into the program, I first want to shout out everyone who's watching and listening. If you're joining us on the BP YouTube channel, thank you. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers this year, and with your help, we can help get there. And let's go ahead and dive in, starting with post positions and what they mean. Luke, two questions for you right off the rip, man. One, for those newer to betting ponies, can you explain how the Belmont maybe differs from the Derby and the Preakness? And also, can you please break down some of these certain gates and how they historically help or hurt when it comes to the Belmont and how they might impact betting cards this weekend?
Well, it's kind of it's an interesting year because the second year in a row that the Belmont will be run at the Big A instead of Big Sandy, while the renovations are going on over at Elmont Park. So usually it's a mile and a half, which is what it's a test of the champion. It's the hardest, longest race. This time it's going to be, or this year again, it's going to be a mile and a quarter, which it's just a different race. It's has everything to do with the smaller track at Aqueduct, but I think it's going to play into that's why there's a lot of different scenarios because it's not as long. If it was just the original setup, I would think it's going to come down to just Sovereignty or Journalism, the two late closers really battling it out. But because it's a mile and a quarter, I think it opens up to a lot of the front runners being able to have openings to have get out in front like Rodriguez to get out in front and just run away with it. Whereas you might not have that opportunity at the longer format.
Okay.
And so, sorry, in terms of post positions, everything inside of 7, it has been the past like 25 years. All the winners have come from inside 7, with the exception of Tonalists. The past 15 years, it's all been out of the top 7.
Okay. Matt, with this being said, are there any big name horses in key slots that you're fading or backing this weekend?
I mean, I wouldn't say that post position is a monster deal with only 8 horses in the field for me, at least. I mean, I think with the mile and a quarter, the thing about the Belmont is that it's been so chalky over history, but that's at a different track. Like generally speaking, the Belmont's been won by the favorites. So if you look at this field and you talk about Sovereignty and talk about Journalism, I think you have to look past those two. And I'm not sure there's a horse that has a bad post position and say like, okay, I couldn't bet that horse because they're too far on the outside, just given the fact that this horse, as we talked about, it is looking to the inside. There's a lot of horses that have decent post positions that are not Journalism and not Sovereignty that I don't think you exclude them just because of where they pulled the number.
Okay, it seems like the Derby is probably the most impactful when it comes to post positions, Matt. Is that what you would agree with?
I mean, yeah, it's the field, right? I mean, there's 20 horses in the Derby.
Right.
This is such a smaller field. Like, you're not going to have the same problems getting around if you need to navigate and get through traffic. You don't have that same problem here at the Belmont.
Okay, and before we get to the odds, be sure to download the free BettingPros app for iOS and Android. With the Sportsbook Sync feature, you can automatically track your bets across all major books in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and of course some parlays as well. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get a free trial of BettingPros Premium by downloading the app at bettingpros.com/apps and activating your trial on the upgrade screen. Now let's go ahead, gentlemen. Let's break down the field. Coming off his win at the Preakness, it's Journalism, who is 8-5 currently as the favorite, plus 160 in American odds. We also have Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty back in the mix at 2-1. Bieza 4-1. Rodriguez is 6-1. Hill Road coming in at 10-1. Crudo at 15-1, and Uncaged, the Longshot, at 30-1. Let's start by breaking down the overlays and the underlays. Matt, in your eyes, do you see any overlays offering value, or maybe some underlays that you're avoiding this weekend?
I mean, Bieza is going to be an interesting horse, and third in the Derby, did not race the Preakness, half brother of Mays that won the 03 Derby, Belmont Stakes winner, door knock as well. This is with Flavin Pratt riding, I really want to see what that horse looks like, and in terms of like value, it's tough because, again, I think it's chalky. I think it's the two horses, and I think we're going to wind up seeing another battle between Journalism and Sovereignty. And so that's 1-2 in a lot of ways to me. And then if you're looking for a trifecta, I'm looking for the third place horse on this. So to me, I mean, I want to see where the odds go. 4-1, 5-1. What do we get out of a Bieza as terms of as we get closer to post position? Then you can try to add that in. But given value, I mean, there's some long shots. I mean, Crudo's interesting. I mean, if you like Bobby Flay, you want to go with that whole angle. You want to go with that. I mean, could be 15, could be 20-1. Not a bad post position right in the middle of the pack. Not horrible, but I really feel like this is going to be a chalky race.
Luke, do you have similar feelings that it really will come down to Sovereignty and Journalism at the end of this thing?
I really do, and I think Bieza will come down there, and he'll probably end up being the third that Matt was talking about, as he has been to these horses in the Derby. I really think maybe Crudo out of Justify, could be the value in this race. As Matt was talking about the Bobby Flay angle, Bobby Flay has been in the winner's circle at Belmont before, and Crudo is a Pletcher trained horse, and Todd Pletcher, as you know, on Belmont Day in the past 60, rather the past rate amount of Belmonts, there's been 60 horses that have either won, placed, or shown, and he's been responsible for 26.5% of them. So his horses will finish in the money, and so I think Crudo is going to be the person, or the horse, that's going to bring the value to this trifecta, superfecta. And if he were to go off and then somehow win, then the exotics just exponentially increase.
Matt, is that how you're pretty much playing it when it comes to the exotics? Not everyone wants to get invested in outrights, but exotics have become wildly popular over the years. Is that what you're doing? Or are you putting Journalism, Sovereignty, and then Bieza maybe as that third horse? Or do you have any other exotics that you are going to be playing this weekend?
I mean, this is, I don't want to sound boring because no one likes chalk, right? Everybody likes the bomb. Everybody wants to see, somebody come from the outside. Everyone wants to see the long shot come in and cash your ticket. But 42.6% of the time, the favorite has won the Belmont. So I think if you're talking about who's favored, Sovereignty or Journalism, you can take your pick there. And as you rotate around, if you want to do exactas and have different tickets with those two at the top, you can rotate them. But I really do think those are your two best horses. And you're talking about third place. That is Crudo and Bieza. And yes, those are the two horses that I would look to if you're going to go for a superfecta, if you're going to go for a trifecta. What are you going to play out? Those are the two horses that I think can have a say as this goes. But I know this is only the second race, that we've seen outside of the Belmont at Saratoga, but it's still, I think, going to be chalky with these two horses. And frankly, the Belmont wants that. I mean, the Belmont wants to, they're pitting this as a heavyweight fight between two contenders, and the field, not to say that they're not going to be involved, but it really does feel like we've got two horses on a collision course.
Okay. Question for you here, Luke. Would you be like gun to the head? Is there a difference for you in the two heavy hitters? Like, is there one way you would lean, or is it just a sprinkle on both of them? And and hoping you can make some type of money, because it feels like it's going to be tough at plus 160 right now for journalism and 2-1 for sovereignty to make really anything if you do go with both of them on the outright.
You know, when we talked before the Derby, I said that if journalism could win the Derby, he could win the Triple Crown. I would like to stand by that. I think the biggest thing against journalism is the head-to-head at the Derby. There's not a lot of horses that could take journalism's kick like that and stare him down eye to eye and beat him. Mm-hmm. So the mental edge would go to sovereignty a little bit there, as well as the rest, because he's been off since the Derby, whereas this will be journalism's third race in 5 weeks. While it is the true spirit of the Triple Crown, without the Triple Crown on the line and without sovereignty having to have run at the Preakness, it'll be interesting to see if journalism can really find that late kick to battle them. And it would be cool to see something kind of like Aladar and Affirmed, where it was just the last half mile, last quarter mile, just neck and neck, just pace for pace. And it'll be really cool to see if we can get a photo finish like that here.
You kind of on that same wavelength there, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a dream, right? I mean, that's if you ask the folks at the Belmont, you know, what do you want out of this race? I think it's exactly that, where you have these two horses battling it out down the stretch, and you get a really exciting last quarter mile between these two horses, and they get to stare each other down and go after it. I mean, these horses are competitive. They both want to win. They know what they're in, and the jockeys do as well. I mean, I think if you're a horse racing fan, this race has far more intrigue. And even if you're a casual, this race will bring you to the television set before the Preakness, because all that cold water got thrown on there the second that Sovereignty said, I'm not running and I'm looking ahead to the Belmont. It was like, okay. But then the Preakness rather, turned out to be one of the most insane races we've seen in recent memory, with the amount of contact and weaving through traffic. So I think we're set up. The hope is that the race will deliver because of the excitement that's going to be built up towards it.
Are you looking for a smarter way to play? Well, there's a new sports trading platform that's changing the game, and it's called Novig. It's legal in most states, including Georgia, California, and Texas. It's peer-to-peer, which means you're competing against others and not the house. You can get better lines than traditional books. You can also set your own line, which gives you control more than most sports books that are just not offering that. There are no commissions or hidden fees, seriously, and it also uses a coin deposit system, but it's real money, and you can use the code DAILYJUICE for 50% off on your first coin purchase, up to $25. Again, that's code DAILYJUICE for 50% off of your first coin purchase, up to $25. Check it out now at bettingpros.com/juice. That's bettingpros.com/juice. Our colleague Mike Mayer, he's on it every single day. He's a Novig fanatic. He's always dropping screenshots and pics in the BP Discord. So if you have questions, jump in the BP Discord and make sure you're checking out what Mayer has to offer over there. And Matt, I know you're also getting that Novig streets as well these days.
Yeah, that we talk a lot about it. If you're looking for a different peer-to-peer is new, and people are starting to come around to the idea that you can get better odds. We know in the horse racing world, we've talked about this for a long time, just the different odds that we see because of the fact that pari-mutuel is different than betting on a sports book. So Novig, not that it's similar, but Novig gives you a different option than what the sports books offer.
There you go. Bettingpros.com/juice if you want to check it out. And let's go ahead, gentlemen, and move into some long shot picks. Luke, do you have any sleeper picks that we should consider jumping on ahead of first call? Or is this just, hey, we're completely betting the chalk and leaving all the long shots for another race?
I really think the long shots are kind of donations in this race. In this race, it's not. You might get lucky, like people did with Dornoch last year. I think he went off at 17-1. But like Matt said, historically the Belmont has been a favorites race, and especially with these two, I guess you could see a long shot would be, like I said earlier, Rodriguez, and that would take him. He's not even a long shot, but that would take him. Bob Baffert, that's another thing. That one thing that gets lost in the controversy surrounding Bob Baffert is that he trains all of his horses to be as fast as they can be, and he loves to get his horses out in front, and knows that the simplest way to win a race is get out in front and hold the lead. And if Rodriguez can do that, especially in the shorter format, I really think that would be the biggest, most likely, I guess, horse to outside of the top two to finish number one.
What about for you, Matt? Do you have a YOLO ticket? Any big payout play that we're not going to hold you to that you might be sprinkling a little bit on this weekend?
Yeah, not to sound like a parrot to Luke, but I think he's absolutely right about the Rodriguez thing. The question is, what do you consider a long shot? Because where are the odds going to go come post time for Rodriguez? 5-1, 4-1. I mean, is that really a long shot per se as to what we're considering? Winning the Wood Memorial, the problem is we haven't seen Rodriguez run. So, like, we haven't seen him in a race up against the two favorites in Journalism and Sovereignty. So that's kind of an X factor. So how does that horse run? Because he hasn't run the two previous Triple Crown legs. Maybe fresher, maybe, more energy kicked down the stretch. So that would be a horse I would look to. I mean, if you want a YOLO ticket, leave Sovereignty and leave Journalism off. I mean, you want to go crazy? Just, take, if you knock off those two horses, you have 6 horses left. Find a couple that you like, Crudo, Beza, and Rodriguez. I mean, find some order to go ahead. Maybe you box those 3 horses and you're going to get crazier odds. I mean, that's how I think if you're looking for the most like shocking of outcomes, neither one of those 2 top horses place. But again, I think Luke's right. I mean, that's basically a donation. You're creating a ticket just for the fun of it, knowing it's going to lose.
No shot for Uncaged 30-1. Is that also a donation in your guys' eyes?
Kind of. I mean, I think there's problems. Again, there's going to be long shots. The Peter Pan Stakes came in 6th. I mean, it's Pletcher. So obviously you have a name horse there. It did not run in either of the races. So Uncaged, maybe. I mean, again, it feels like a donation. You can take the flyer if you want, but I don't want to completely throw water on it, but yeah, kind of. No.
Same for you, Luke.
I think if you wanted to go with a long shot and only bet one, it would be Uncaged just because of like the lottery ticket of odds. I liked him a lot more before the Peter Pan. I was looking at him, looking towards this race. I had my eye on him because the Peter Pan, can be a good feeder into this race. But I was very disheartened by his 6 plates run there. And I was really actually surprised that they ran him out here again for the Belmont because of that. To what Matt said, because it's such a small field, if you did take Journalism and Sovereignty out and wanted to do that moonshot, you could do a 20-cent trifecta box. I think it would only be $36, and it's most likely going to lose because one of those guys, both those guys aren't probably going to fail to hit the board. But it's not as expensive to play what the lottery ticket that Matt said, and for $36, if both those horses fail to hit, it's going to be way more than $36.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, it was an absolute pleasure chopping it up with you once again on this episode. That's going to do it for us today on the Betting Pros podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe if you're new. And don't forget to download that BP app and sync your sportsbooks today. For Luke Monaldo and Matt Perrault, I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.